Welcome to the Interstellar Stories channel. In today's video, we're going to dive deep into a topic. Many people who are experiencing excruciating pain, debilitating diseases, or severe emotional anguish frequently wish they could pass away. They may question if they may beg God to end their lives and whether doing so would be considered committing suicide. Whether it is wicked to pray for one's death and whether God would agree to such a request are important questions that come up. The desire to be free from pain is a fundamentally human emotion. Even Jesus Christ, who was going through a great deal of pain, prayed to God, asking him to take away his cup, but not according to his desire, but according to his. Although Jesus showed a desire to escape pain in his humanity, he yielded to God's decision. This surrender is crucial. Jesus always matched his will with the Father's. Jesus demonstrated in his prayer that pain is occasionally required, and that he was prepared to go through it in order to carry out God's purpose. As believers, our prayers should echo Jesus' submission. Your will be done. Our lives and deaths are under God's control. David affirmed that all our days are ordained by God. Instead of praying for death, it's better to ask for God's strength and grace to endure our suffering, trusting him to determine the timing and circumstances of our death. Suffering raises difficult questions about why we experience pain. Suffering humbles us, making us dependent on God. When we ask, "Why me, Lord?" the answer might be, "Why not you?" God has a purpose for our suffering, and his plans are perfect and holy. Even if we don't understand his ways, we can trust that they are ultimately for our good and his glory. The Apostle Paul's experience illustrates this. He suffered from a thorn in the flesh, a persistent affliction. Although Paul prayed for relief, God did not remove the thorn. Instead, he assured Paul that his grace was sufficient and that Paul's weakness would display God's power. Paul learned to rejoice in his sufferings, knowing that they allowed God's strength to be revealed. Rather than seeking to escape suffering through death, we should rely on God, trusting that our suffering serves a greater purpose. When we feel overwhelmed by suffering, we should remember that we are not alone. Other believers have endured immense pain, persecution, and loneliness. God promises that he will not allow us to be tested beyond what we can bear, and will provide a way to endure it. Depending on our level of faith, it may or may not be wrong to ask for death. According to Romans 14:23, sin is anything that is not of faith. For us, it is incorrect if we think it to be so. James 4:17 further emphasizes that it is sin to not act on the good that we know to be true. While wishing to die can indicate a lack of faith, rejecting Jesus is the single thing that prohibits us from going to paradise. Asking God for courage and consolation while believing that he would provide for us would be a more sincere prayer. God, you have promised to sustain me through any trial. I implore you to take away my despair, to hold me up with your powerful right hand, and to soothe me with your presence. But in all may your will, not mine, be done. Amen.